Well, the coordinated attack on Iran by the U.S. and Israel receiving mixed reaction from lawmakers, largely falling along party lines. NewsNation's Joe Khalil, he's live on Capitol Hill with a breakdown for us. So, Joe, what are you hearing?
So a lot going on Capitol Hill. I do want to start with this. We've got news that on Tuesday, you're going to have both the House and the Senate getting a full briefing on the latest with respect to Iran from the White House and from the Pentagon. So this is going to be Secretaries Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth, the nation's top general, Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and also the director of the CIA, John Ratcliffe, all of whom will be coming to Capitol Hill, starting off in the Senate, full briefing, and then going over to the House. Can imagine there are going to be a lot of questions that lawmakers have. And already we know some of the questions just based on our reporting and our conversations behind the scenes about what lawmakers still want to know. One of those issues that will be certain to come up is what the intelligence said before the American and Israeli strikes that happened late Friday night into Saturday morning. There has been some disagreement. Right now, the White House says there was intelligence that there could be potentially Iranian strikes preemptively on American targets in the region, and so the U.S. moved before the Iranians could. This morning, that is being refuted by someone who would have been in that briefing, Senator Mark Warner, who's the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee. He came out this morning on different networks and said there was no intelligence at all that suggested any Iranian strikes on American targets were imminent before the U.S. and Israel decided to strike first. So that is a big disagreement right now on just the facts, Kelly, that there are going to be a lot of questions about from lawmakers as they head into these briefings come Tuesday. Beyond that, you are absolutely right. Most of the reaction is falling right along party lines, with some small exceptions. But you've got Democrats mostly saying, thank goodness that Khamenei is gone and that several of the top Iranian leaders of this Islamist regime in Iran are now dead. They say that is a good thing. However, they are critical still of the White House because they feel like President Trump has not yet made the case to the American public about why strikes in Iran are in America's interest. If this is a prolonged conflict, not lasting days or weeks, but potentially beyond that, what are the long-term goals for the United States? So those are the criticisms that we're hearing mostly from Democrats, as well as a concern about, is there a plan for Iran governing what comes next? From Republicans, mostly what we're hearing is praise. They're saying this is not just a righteous move by President Trump, but strategically the smartest move to sort of cut off the head of the snake when it comes to the #1 sponsor of terrorism in the world, when it comes to the Iranians funding Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthis in Yemen, and several other places around the world. They say that this was absolutely the right move made at the right time. So perhaps not surprising that those responses are falling along party lines, again, with some small and notable exceptions there, Kelly.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. And Joe, you know, we are expecting this House and Senate war powers vote this week. What is the likelihood this passes? It appears this may be more about getting lawmakers on the record on this military mission, especially ahead of the midterms here.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And I think that's going to be the value in it. I don't think many lawmakers are under any illusion that President Trump is waiting to make his next move until Congress gives him approval for it. I don't think that's just realistic. That's not what's happening. But the value, I think, according to some lawmakers with having this vote, #1, is that Congress is constitutionally supposed to be authorizing strikes. Even if President Trump doesn't sign it, it is important symbolically that there is this vote per some lawmakers. And then getting everyone on the record is going to matter at some point. It may just be politically. It may be more symbolically as well, but it is going to matter. I'll just go back. I know that the circumstances are different, but there are comparisons between the beginnings of the Iraq War in 2003 and what we're seeing today. Again, lots of differences in terms of circumstance, but after 2003, when Congress took that vote still dogged a lot of people, Hillary Clinton being the most notable, years later, 2008, 9, 10, as people were running for office. So it is possible that depending on how this develops, where you stand right now is going to be important. And people not just talking about it, but speaking with their actual votes recorded, I think could be an important marker as this conflict develops.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.